Hello there, and welcome back to Crypto Talks. Sorry, I got stuck in that song again. So we're back. It's
We
TA
are.
Monday. I'm joined by Rob as usual, or is Rob joined by me?
Um, I'll give you the host status, so you're
Yes,
the ever-present.
I'm the ever-present host person guy. Anyway, so hi, welcome back, and today we're gonna talk about Bitcoin as usual. We might touch on some other stuff, which we tend to do because we just can't stop talking. Hopefully, that's okay. Um, and yeah, there's been some stuff happening with the SEC today. We're gonna try not to be on that too much because we will actually be planning a longer version of that, a longer discussion for Saturday this week, where we're going to do that and kind of dig into that. We just need more information on what's going on before we want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we don't spread any unnecessary, rumors and stuff like that.
Yeah. Only necessary rumors will be spread on this channel, just to confirm.
Necessary rumors, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
You said no. You said no unnecessary rumors,
no,
right?
no unnecessary
just spread.
information like rumors.
We'll just spread necessary rumors.
Right, exactly. Let's go with that. That's good. All right, so I'm gonna jump right into Bitcoin right away. So let's see. Here we go. Hopefully everybody can see this. So last week we made some predictions. It was basically the same that we did the week previous to that, which is once we popped over this line here, we were expecting things to kind of move sideways for a while, and it has. Last week we were, where were we? Right here, retesting this middle Bollinger Band, and we were kind of saying, okay, if this doesn't hold, then well, we're probably going to go down and retest, and we needed this retest of this support line here, the 21.5K. Excuse me, I am busy. Sorry, Victor. But like I said, we were expecting some sort of retest. We wanted to see this just in order to see, the indicators kind of reset back into where, signaling a bottom. And it's been doing that. For example, let's start off with this. We are kind of retesting this line here. We've bounced on it a few days ago, and now we're at it again, consuming a little bit more here. But yeah, we're wicking below this now. I don't think it has any value if it's wicking below or not that much. It's just a wick. Wicks tend to form. So
it's still a support zone.
It's a general zone.
Every support one is a zone.
Yeah. And to be completely fair, we can even add a line on the daily close on this, and then we'll see that that's more of where the wick kind of landed. I tend to kind of check both, but I just keep one of the lines because there's enough lines on my charts anyway. But yes, so we've seen this. We were expecting this. Obviously, the Bollinger Band is bottoming out there. We were outside here after the big dip, which is something that normally occurs. The MACD seems to be, at least in the histogram, it seems to be kind of signaling a I guess bottoming type thing. We do need to get these to come back down here though.
Well, so yeah, the MACD can consistently remain positive in a bull market, and it will do so. So we don't. This is typically that histogram reversal. Once that starts to gain momentum, it will continue and it will come back to neutral. So yeah, it's a good sign so far.
Yeah, precisely. I was getting to that. Getting back to kind of where, going back to neutral, right? This oscillating histogram is kind of just showing you tops and bottom. Well, at least in my book. It's not always perfect, obviously, but it tends to kind of line up.
I pay more attention to the histogram really than the lines necessarily.
Oh, me too.
So yeah, so it's like the lines. the lines will say now that the histogram is simply showing whether or not the lines are diverging or converging. As they're converging, because of the shorter period of the blue line, then it will curve up, and hopefully we start to get some nice move up. But it's this is the retest we wanted. This is the exact zone.
Yes, precisely.
Exactly as predicted.
Yeah. Look, just because we predict things, and we've been like, I've been proudly saying this to my friends that we've been incredibly accurate with our TA here for the past couple of weeks, and that's not always the case. So please, if you're watching this, don't just look at this and say, "Oh, Phil and Rob said it's bottoming, so I'm going to buy now." Please don't do that.
Every single week we've said it's either going to go up, going to go down, or going to go sideways, and every week we've been spot on. So what more can people want?
Yes, but in essence, what we have been trying to do is to kind of predict a week-long pattern,
the most range. Probabilistic route for the next week.
Precisely. And now, like we said last week, we need this kind of correction or consolidation happens sideways or downwards, right? Now this is still sideways if you think about it from where the support line is. Moving sideways like this is, it's not horrible. That works.
No, it's fine.
The RSI and so forth, everything will start to come back down into like, buying areas or whatever. And they tend to do that, as they have. You can see it from here all the way, even from this top where the RSI topped out. It's been, doing this kind of ballooning thing here, and the RSI has just continued to go down, even though the price has not moved that much, right? Either way, let's get on to the next part here. So the RSI is something I'm going to wait with. I'm actually going to open up the super trend here, because I noted that the super trend is actually not something that I use that often to do analysis, but sometimes it really holds up. And right now we have another kind of support line here that lines up with everything else. So the confluence of support that we have right here in this area right now is we have the 21.5K, which is this green line right here. From here we have the long-term trend line, which is this yellow line here, which is what we broke through a while back, which we were hoping we would, because it's been holding up as resistance for so long, and now finally we're above it, which is a pretty major bullish sign overall that the downtrend might be over. But that doesn't mean an uptrend is coming long term. That means that we're out of kind of the year and a half long downtrend, and now maybe we're moving into some kind of sideways move. And sideways again can be all the way from down here all the way to up here at this point, and we can just move like this for a year, right?
If you want to see sideways, look at the last 6 months, which has been sideways with one drop in the middle. There's been, this is on what, daily candles?
This is daily, yes, correct.
So if you take away those two big, huge red candles, then Bitcoin has traded sideways for 7-8 months already, like completely sideways. If you take one black swan event.
To be fair, this is what I mean. If we follow this trend line, the big one, this is a downtrend. It's still a downtrend until this happened. Now, this becomes sideways now that this has happened, right?
Yes.
This was still downtrend until we had this happening. So then suddenly, this range between the Fibonacci here and here, well, actually even down here, is suddenly the range that we're looking at for a sideways move for maybe up to, throughout the whole year. For me, I'm happy with that. I'll buy the swings low as much as I can, and I'll be happy with that. And that's again the ranges that we keep talking about, or at least me. I like my ranges. Everybody knows that. Maybe I should change my name to Phil the Range Crypto Talks. Phil the Ranger. Yes. Maybe I should wear one of those, Texas Ranger suits or whatever, or uniforms.
Yeah. Do it.
What's his name again? That old TV show, Walker Texas Ranger, right? I remember that when I was a kid. That did run in Sweden too. Okay, either way, I'm not going to get off topic too much here. So we got the trend line, we got the super trend as well, kind of joining in with all the support here. So we said trend line, this one, and so we got 3 right here. And this, obviously the Bollinger Band is it's in the bottom of the Bollinger Band, which tends to say you're kind of at the bottom of a range currently short term, right? We got the MACD. I'm gonna remove the RSI here. I'm gonna add the MACD again. Like we said, the MACD is showing this histogram from red to pink, which tends to signal kind of either a slowdown or a bottoming. Like we do here. We see this is a bottoming thing, and we had this sideways move and all that. So we got all this confluence of support, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna hold. Like, what I would like to see looking at this is to see the price kind of bounce on this and at least retest this middle Bollinger Band first, because that's the first kind of resistance. And funnily enough, this resistance lines up with this top right here, with the Bollinger Band. So maybe that's something that, not that I think this is an important, price point, but there is something there at least. So I could definitely see this carrying on going sideways. Hopefully it will, because the further we get away from this trend line here, the better in my book. I want to get away from this. I want to carry on sideways so that we're firmly away from this trend line.
I have a feeling that we will, however long we come away from it, we'll come and say hello to it again before we before we leave this bear market.
Sure, and like I said in the beginning here, we have some stuff happening right now with stable coins and the SEC and all these things. Things could get bad soon. It could. I don't know if there's going to be another Black Swan event, or if it's just going to be like a black eye here and there. But
black eye event.
Well, but let's look at it objectively here. Look, we had this horrendous news about, we had this news about the SEC starting to poke at stable Kraken and at BUSD by Paxos, right? And the only thing that happened was this tiny little red candle that's already bounced. So it's like the market doesn't give a, they don't care anymore.
No.
So yeah, I still have confidence that I'd like to see this move sideways, and to be a bit selfish, I would like to see it come down more so I can get more. But will I see it? Who knows? We'll see. But again, this next week, I am expecting to see some kind of sideways move here. It looks like this is holding. I'll be hard. It's hard for me to see a bounce to an uptrend here right now. The markets don't feel that interested.
Well,
yeah,
we'll see. It's as my regular almost catchphrase has become here. We need to see what the traditional markets are going to do, and this is a good point. If there ever was one, that a bit of bad movement in the stock market, if they can smash through that support and really drag things down, the powers will be the whales that have the capital to back it up and move the markets. They'll make it happen if there is enough there to make it happen. You see this wider range. You see the stock market there. It has put in now essentially an uptrend.
Yeah,
it's got a way out of it yet. It could. This overall behavior in terms of the traditional markets, this could be the calm before the storm, because if you go back to say 2008 and the dot-com bubble, where you had these sort of patterns of lower highs going along, that it's things can get bad and then they can start to look better, and a relief bounce can be a lot bigger than people expect. We've had very, very small relief rallies in 2022. I know, in percentage terms, a lot of them were maybe 20, 30, 40, 70%, I think, something in April
Yep.
last year, but they were still very small compared to the downturn. A 50% drop needs 100% rally just to get back to where it was, and we've had very, very weak relief rallies in 2022. Maybe this time it's time for a proper relief rally before the next leg, the next wave of selling, which will be, as it was this year, it'll be macro driven. And yeah, to be long term bullish, well, to be long term bullish is easy. To be mid term bullish is maybe not so. But short term, yeah, things don't look too bad really at all. It's in terms of markets are starting to take away and break these bearish trends, because they have to, in order to, if you trade sideways for any period of time, you are going to break the bullish trend, the bearish trend, or the bullish trend.
Yep.
These periods of consolidation, these sideways movements, they act as corrections in and of themselves, as we've discussed. And if buyers do come in because they've got itchy trigger fingers, they've got they're feeling the FOMO. If they step in and there's insufficient sell pressure to meet it, then price are going to go up. This is an important level though. If we start to really break down further from here, then I expect to see certainly below 20k, closer to 19. So this is the level to hold, really. This is the sideways. This is the place to start ranging sideways, as you say, and really break away from that downtrend.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I keep saying it. I don't hate to repeat myself, but I don't want to sound like I'm just a broken record. But again, the range right here, I think this bottom here, because of the FTX, was kind of an anomaly, and now we're back into this range where we started going sideways, where it's between this fib level right here and this one. And like you say, if we can hold between here and just kind of work this, because there's a lot of support right down here, even if it goes all the way down here, right? But before I leave it off to your screen, because I know you had some stuff you wanted to show, I just wanted to note that the weekly super trend, which is not something that I usually look at that often, but since it broke back here in January, like over a year ago, it's been red the entire time until now. And for this to turn red again, we need to crack below 17.2 and close a week below that. So, when the weekly green goes green, it tends to be green for a while, you see?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this is going to happen. I doubt that this is going to happen, but maybe we get something like this.
You say,
maybe we get something like this, and then we have this happening, right?
Well, maybe that's a good segue onto to shift onto my screen then.
Exactly, and that was what I was gonna do. That was exactly why I wanted to bring this up. Okay, I'm gonna shift it over to Rob here. So
because what I have on my screen currently for for those who are familiar with it is the 2018, 19, 20 bear market, and this yellow section that I've overlaid here. So this is the current bear market from, basically it's from this section here, June, up to present day. So I have had to squish it together a bit, because actually this time it's taken longer. As expected, market cycles, they get further extended, and the growth trajectory isn't as high.
Yeah.
But you can see very, very clearly the similar sort of move, in that you had this aggressive sharp move down, a big response, a retest of the lows. Now, as we discussed, if you take away sort of this FTX, mean reversion almost, then kind of right up where we should be to go on something stupid like we did in 2019. This is the market bottom, the exact behavior that we saw in 2018, and so this is the time for the market to really prove, does it have any follow through? Is it now going to, I have these two trend lines drawn. I know you have this same one. Mine's just a little further out extended.
Yeah, you pulled it longer. Yeah.
So this could be a very nice position to simply to trade sideways and then start to break and push higher. And
Yep.
this, we're talking about 3 months' time being at 29,000. Is that ridiculous? Is that insanely super bullish? I don't think so. Not when you just look at the traditional, typical moves that Bitcoin has had, even in a bear market.
Yep.
It can easily rally 100, 150%, 200%. 200% would take it to, from bottom to top would be somewhere close to 47,000. I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to get that high, but I didn't think it was going to hit 14,000 in 2019.
I don't think anyone thought that, to be
No,
fair.
and this is kind of the, I'm quite clearly say medium term bearish, not on Bitcoin but on the entirety of the market.
Yep.
I don't expect to move up into the 40,000s, but history has taught me that I shouldn't be surprised. And if you start to see that, if I start to see this sort of behavior, a real bottom put in, a push high, and then a break high with volume, with a lot of power, and a break above this range into the 25,000s, the next drop, however quick it is, I'm buying that drop, because that then is that confirmed reversal and uptrend.
Yep.
And it doesn't necessarily mean to say remortgage your house and throw everything in, because things can go wrong. But absolutely, you start to really get interested. And so I would be then looking to implement money onto my strategy bot, which would then ideally try and ride up that wave.
Yeah.
So
I do like your second trend line there, because that shows the bottom of, like, if you exempt the anomaly with FTX, that's showing us kind of the
and
a bottom part of that, which is also confluence of support again to all the other stuff that we mentioned earlier.
And that, if we do go back to here, that this section, this yellow bit that I've drawn in, is essentially just the same sort of thing we had there. The same sort of thing, we've had plenty of bottoms where we've really started to break up, where we either bottomed and reversed, or here where we had a similar sort of flag scenario. In fact, very similar scenario actually is here, and it did result in a further run up.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not going to 100k tomorrow, guys. But,
probably not.
it's still, we do see these very boring, very dull periods. That's what I do like to say. Bitcoin spends a year looking amazing, a year looking like shit, and then 2 years looking boring.
I like the boring part.
Yes, we've had a year of exuberance 2021. We've had a year of shit 2022. It is time for 2 years of boring.
Yeah.
And straight into the next halving, and then hopefully out of a global recession. I don't think the next 2 years are going to be very boring, because I think there's a whole heap of God knows what waiting around the corner. So
it's going to be boring in a negative way, I think. If anything. I mean that in terms of, oh crud, another thing falls. Oh crud, this went to crap now. But the thing is, like, as soon as usually, I think we talked about this before, whenever a recession is announced, like officially, like, oh oops, they backtrack that a few months. And say this is when it actually started. So, okay, why didn't you tell us then? But usually when a recession is formed, that's when speculative markets tend to start moving, right? So
generally, say within the first sort of periods of a recession, markets will have bottomed and then start to move up, because all of the badness is priced in at that point. The maximum bearishness has already been spent. You can't get worse than everybody selling everything they own in sheer terror of being liquidated. It doesn't get worse than that. That is the
recession happens when recession tends to happen when things are boring sideways, which is kind of where we're at right now. At least in terms of what I've been looking at.
So the way to think of it is, you have the growth trajectory, and things don't just go from growing to recession. You have to have that slowing of growth, and that's where you get that period of calm and that period of everyone just, this is peaked out, and then the bad things start to happen. But just like with the Bitcoin bear market, it got to January, February, March, April, and people are looking at it at mid 40,000s and going, are we really in a bear market though? I wasn't sure we were going to be. I wasn't. I was looking at it going, where's inflation going? And as soon as it became apparent that no, the Fed are really, really serious about what they're going to, about tackling inflation, about raising these rates, then it was like, no, this isn't the end. This, the market is going to reprice these assets, and right now, Bitcoin is sat in too much profit, and it's we are past the worst of that as it happens. But that's not to say that there's not more waiting around the corner. And as it happens now, it's like, I think there's an awful lot of mess coming around the corner, and it's going to cause Bitcoin to crash. But if Bitcoin crashes from 40,000 down to 20,000 in a huge, gigantic 50% drop, I still should have bought it when it was 17. So,
right.
Nobody knows if it's going to go to 50k, then drop 30% overnight in a collapse, in a liquidation. Nobody knows if it's going to drop 70%. Like, nobody has a damn clue. What we do know is Bitcoin is very, very cheap right now over a historically, a 2 to 3 to 4 year period.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. So I think before we round this off, I wanna just jump back on this for just a second. I just made a little box here. For those of you who watched this before, when we made a box around here, this is the same type of box. This is where I'm expecting Bitcoin. This is a 7-day thing from today all the way to the next week. This is where I think we're gonna sit. I'm gonna be that boring this time. Say it might want to try to retest the Bollinger, but it might also want to move sideways. But this is if the 21.5k holds. If it doesn't, it will go down at least to the trend line again, and we'll see what happens. And that's it. That's really as boring as I think it will be, honestly. And Rob, you can agree if you want, but
I think we're going to, over the next week, I do think that we're going to play around with that trend line a little bit more. I think there's probably what I'd like to see, if there's a nice big, decent rally back up, sort of towards 23. What I would then look to do would be to see and roll over and retest. Very often you see it go just below the previous wick, catch as many stops as possible, and then it will fly up from there. So if we don't see a bounce and we see a grind down, then I would be in favor of just a continuation of the grind down for the next few days. If we do get a sizable bounce, then that retest of the lows is the very, very interesting level, because if it holds that level a second time, it's probably going to go and try and make a new high.
Yeah,
because that's a very typical sort of bottom that Bitcoin puts in.
Yeah,
and
and I mean, it's currently fighting this line right now. It's been going up and down all day, like this. So we'll see.
But we need to see strength over the week. Bear in mind, we've just had the weekend, so it dumped, and then we've traded sideways from there. Now let's see, coming the new week, where the buy pressure brings us.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be fun to see, because obviously the volume is up too, but whatever. Okay, so we're gonna finish it here actually for the first time under 30. Yay! Just guys, if you like this, if you want to be part of the community and everything, make sure you like, subscribe, put the notification bell on so you don't miss anything. Not that I think we're shadow banned, but we'll see.
Share with all your friends.
Yeah, tell everybody you've ever known in your entire life. Call your third grade teacher, make her watch or him watch this. I'm just kidding, obviously. No, I'm not. Okay, cool. So we're gonna finish here, everybody, and make sure you join the Discord too. We're always around, all right? So we'll leave it at that.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.